And welcome back. Today we are flying out the MiG-23BN, and it's, well, a lot less potent than I thought it was going to be. And that's because, well, the lack of countermeasures and the, well, not so much lack of Su-25s with R60Ms is basically making this thing unplayable. You are playing a horror game, and the second you see Slenderman, or in this case Su-25, you need to run away. You are kind of just running around the map looking for openings, and these openings will be referred to as nodes on the trees. Yeah, you might go head on with an A5 here, he can't really go head on with us. We shoot our S-24 off, boom, he is crit, he lost his tail control, he is gonna be down. Pretty good opening for the match. I come in from the side, and instantly you are greeted with a plethora of Su-25s. Your game presence in this thing is extremely limited. You are a massive supersonic, a very hot massive supersonic, and R60s, well, they have no trouble catching you. So this guy shoots a missile at us, I am forced to turn away. You cannot try to dodge it, do not attempt it, you are gonna eat shit 99% of the time. Not exactly enjoyable. But this guy, because he still decides to follow us despite we're going Mach 1, and he's doing nowhere near that. He has an AJ-37 on the 6 as well as an F5 diving on him, but he is still going for us. As long as this guy points his nose at us and he still has missiles left, we are useless. He shoots a second missile, we are going to outrun one just the same way. And there we have it. I'm now in the corner of the map, and I've done nothing but a single head on. In the meantime, their team died. But it could have very easily been the other way around. And then you have to carry, with Su-25s in the mix, it's not particularly enjoyable. So what is this thing like? It is a ground pounder, it's a fast bomber, and it's good for that. It has a lot of bombs, it has a lot of options. However, as a fighter, which is how we fly everything on this channel, it's extremely limited, and it's basically a MiG-23M at 9.7. And you might think, well, that sounds pretty damn good. And on paper, yeah, it's pretty good. The issue is just the all-aspect missiles, and if the all-aspect missiles were not added in the same patch as this one, it wouldn't have nearly been as much of an issue. Why do I say that? It's the same way with the G91YS, which I will cover tomorrow. I already have the video done. Let me tell you something, it is not enjoyable to fly, at least not as a fighter. As a bomber, a strike bomber, it's basically like the Milan, but you can actually dogfight people. It's actually pretty good at it. The thing is, no countermeasures, a little bit of a boat. It's definitely maneuverable, and it doesn't belong at this BR. It has no business being at 9.7. But at the same time, it's also going to be useless if you put it any higher. It already is near useless, and Germany does need some ground pounders. But this is not the way to do it, Gaijin. We then get a kill because the MiG-21S turns in front of us, and we are running 2 gunpods on the wings, S-24, as well as a rocket pod with the S5Ks as makeshift flares. Don't count on them, they're not gonna work very often. And you can tell here I'm gonna go into that furball to see if I can kill one of 2 guys. I then notice there's an A-10 hanging a little bit behind. He's in the clouds luckily, we shoot the missile off in the head-on or the rocket. I thought I was running the S-24 there, but I'm shooting an S5K at him and I achieve absolutely dick all. He's already turning for us and I need to get out of there, and that's the benefit of this thing. It is fast as hell. Yeah, doesn't track. We are gonna outrun him, and we are gonna be safe for now. The thing is, we can run all day long, but that's not gonna win us the game here. And as we are resetting and reassessing the situation, thank you to all my Patreons and to everyone that's looking to buy a pack. Feel free to use my link in the description below. It will run you a 3% discount. No decal yet, it's being worked on. And the second that releases, I will let you know. So we got a little bit of altitude, and it's not so much to run away from the A-10 or to run away from the F8U. It's not gonna happen. What I'm trying to do is run away from the A-10 while the F8 and the MiG-21 chase me. Because these guys are a lot faster, and so are we. So we can run away together, and the A-10 and the Su-25 might get bored, might start ground pounding, and then we can actually start fighting these 2 guys. So there's the MiG-21 here, I'm not sure which variant it is, and then the F8U2. Now the F8U2 is actually not something I'm particularly fond of dogfighting. The MiG-21, I'm not sure which variant it is, but if it's not a variant with good missiles, I'm not really worried about him either. And then I noticed that the F8U breaks off. I'm completely dusting this MiG-21. It's making me think it is an F. So the F-13, the 9.3 variant. Which is great, because I have no qualms dogfighting that thing. And just like in real life, the A-10 gets gunned down by a truck with a 50 cal. You know, run the meme in the top right. But we're going head on here. It's the MiG-21. He is turning in front of us. Don't manage to pull in. I noticed the F8U is coming back in, but I should have a little bit of time here to kill this guy relatively quick. Because in the end, it is an F-13, which is perfect. So all we have to do now is make sure that he dies as quickly as possible before that F8U comes in. Because I can kind of deal with him, but I'd rather make this a 1v1 and I don't have to deal with Mr. 20 million degrees of AOA in the meantime. So he tries to dive out, I say no, and down he goes, and then the F8U comes in, and because I still have an S24 left, I'm gonna shoot it in the head-on, and down he goes. Takes both, well, it just fucks up his plane completely. I don't really know what I took off, I'm not gonna bullshit you with that, but he is not doing particularly well, and you can tell that he's slow, he's probably in a flat spin. All I have to do now is finish him off. He bails out, no war crimes today, and I can't shoot down the parachute, unfortunately. So the game later, Su-25, and this is how I fly it. I fly around the map, come in from behind and try to catch as many of these Su-25s or A-10s as possible. You fly this thing relatively similar to how you fly an F-4C. Both largely unenjoyable, but this thing you can actually dogfight people with. I'm not gonna use my guns, I'm just gonna lob a missile at him. I'm not gonna risk getting a hit and then him start cancer rolling and then I overshoot, because if that happens I am dead. It's extremely annoying to stay on people with this thing, and unlike the MLD and the MiG-23M, MiG-27 and you know all those MiG-23, the Flogger variants at 11.0 and 11.3, it's a lot harder to aim here. And it might sound kinda counterintuitive, but that's mainly because you are shooting at subsonics, which are a lot more agile, keep the speed a lot better, and they are nowhere near as big. Shooting at other supersonics is relatively easy with the MiG-23, but when you're going twice the speed of your enemy, and you're kind of forced to, because if you don't, you get missiled since you don't have countermeasures. It's a little bit rough to aim, the rudder doesn't help, and you can't really park on someone's 6, because you are just going to get third party. That's unfortunately the way it is. So now you have a plane that has to deal with high-powered missiles without countermeasures. You can't really dogfight people. Well, you can. It's definitely good at it in the long run. The issue is that mostly in the first 2 or 3 turns they are going to get shots on you, because you don't have that instantaneous pull. You have that very good sustained turn rate, but that doesn't really get you anywhere when you have to clean up multiple people on the map. And because of the fact that you can't really run away, because if you show your ass to an Su-25 or an A-10, what ends up happening is that missile is going to catch you and you are not going to be dodging it if he is within range. And those planes turn well enough, so then you have to be even faster, and then makes the window even smaller to shoot at them. So all in all, this plane kind of shoots itself in the foot, because everything it's good at gets countered by what it's bad at, and kind of vice versa. So you are stuck here with a plane that wants to play a certain way, but it can't because of the limitations. So just fly this thing as a bomber, fly it in ground RB or something, but I've not been enjoying my time in it. I've had decent games and I'm showing you some here right now, but most of my games I have just been slammed by an Su-25 or an A-10. MiG-21s and stuff, they are still kind of annoying, but you can somewhat deal with them. Whereas an Su-25 and an A-10, they are very maneuverable, or at least maneuverable enough to easily dodge you. And then they're maneuverable enough to instantly pitch in and shoot a missile at you. You can't break the heat signature, which is the main issue here. You go ahead on with the MiG-21. I noticed the Su-25 on the right, but why would I try and dodge him? I can't do it anyway. So I'd rather get the MiG-21 out of the game, because he is actually going to ruin our day completely, because he can catch us as well. So he's down now. Su-25 is being left behind, and he doesn't have any missiles left, because if he does, I would have been dead already. Mirage turns in front of us. And try to shoot him down underlead just a little bit. And now we have a Mirage on a 6 as well as an Su-25. And I would have just full send it right there. But I know I'm fast enough right now to see if the Mirage has missiles left. Because he would have shot it at like 2 kilometers. He didn't. And this is making me think he doesn't have anything left. Of course, it's a little bit of a gamble. But when you fly a plane like this as a fighter, well, that's kind of what you have to do. If you don't gamble, you're not going to get any kills. You really are looking for openings the entirety of the match, and it's definitely not a plane I recommend for people that aren't very familiar with ARB, especially at this BR. And again, you're just playing Slenderman, man. Slenderman, man. Amazing. You are just looking for those little spots on the map where you are being left alone. And if you aren't there, then well, you're kind of fucked. Go ahead on, Mirage dodges, Su-25 starts coming in, and now the Mirage is turning right next to the Su-25, so I'm gonna full send it. Why is that, you might ask? Because right now I can turn into the same direction and dodge both of them at the same time. The Mirage just dodged to the left, so this time I'm gonna hold the trigger down while shooting to the left, and he dodges right into it. Thank you for being predictable, mister. And we are now gonna go on to the Su-25, and he doesn't have any missiles left, so all I have to do is dodge the first angle he gets. There we go. Don't want to go head on, but he's already going pretty slow. We have plenty of speed, and if you merge like this, pretty easy. If you dive on an Su-25 and you kind of overshoot, I'm not gonna lie, you're kind of boned. You need to get on his 6 and you need to stay there. You can stall him out if you are on low enough fuel, but the Su-25 just has enough thrust and just enough turning circle that it can kind of just sit inside of your circle and you can't really do much about it. Very annoying to deal with. You might be able to kill him in the long run, but it's going to take a while, and 9 out of 10 times when you fight other Su-25s, guess what? There are still going to be other people on the map as well. Completely whiffed that shot. He's just cancelling around, and you can tell I kind of struggle getting my nose on, but with an F5 it's not as much of an issue. Because, well, he doesn't have any missiles to just send up after us. Well, other than an AIM-9E, but I'm not really too worried about those. So we overshoot, we run away, and we are gonna go look for the next node on the map. And then I run straight into some planes I don't want to run into. I'm not sure which Jaguars these are yet. I'm gonna shoot in the head-on, shoot the S-24, miss. That's really close, not sure how that didn't hit. I'm pretty sure that didn't hit, however, that was way off. Gonna keep going straight. Both Jaguars do not send it for me, which is perfect. I noticed the AJ-37. I need to cut my throttle, because if that's a GL1 Harrier, he can sram me in the head-on. Which, let me tell you, is very easy to do with an afterburner on this plane. It's very, very hot. Not like the Su-25. This thing, well, it's kind of like the F4C. It's just hot from all sides. You are basically a floating lighthouse located in a damp meadow where all the flies just kind of latch onto your ass. Not really enjoyable. I wanted to dogfight the Jaguar, but I cannot because the Harrier's coming in, cut the afterburner, even go to 50% throttle. We push the head on, we damage his wingtip, and then we dodge the missile somewhat. Not sure how that didn't track us, but you know, you gotta get lucky sometimes when you fly a plane like this. So the Harrier is RTB. I'm gonna go up and over. He doesn't have the AOA or the energy to pull up after this, so I fold out the wings completely. I'm gonna drop the flaps a little bit. And at this point I am just working on getting this guy stalled out, because I will have much more power than him. He will bleed more speed than us. He does have a little bit more AOA, but you know, it doesn't really matter when you can never get the gun on target, or your nose on target rather. So I'm just gonna keep looping in this direction until he is slow enough, and then I will transition to a more of a horizontal loop, and I'm gonna slowly but surely cut behind him. You can tell he's not doing very well on the energy department. He should probably consider ordering a Happy Meal. He then notices that he's not gonna win this fight. So what does he do? He levels out and tries to run away, and I can't really fault him for it. The issue with it is that I'm just going to catch him. I out-accelerate him, and I am faster than him, so I'm not sure where he's gonna go. Cut the afterburner prematurely so that the AV-8 cannot lock us frontally, and then the Jaguar, after regaining a little bit of speed, tries to do a bit of a loop upwards. I'm not sure why he would do that, and then turns right back in the guns. We click him out of the air, we get a fuel explosion, and he is gonna go down. AV-8 then comes in just a little bit too soon to my liking. Very sketchy stuff here. Luckily, AV-8 doesn't pull particularly well, unlike the AV or the GR7 that we flew yesterday, if you haven't checked it out. And this guy is gonna go absolutely nowhere too. He notices that, and he is gonna go and dive out. But yet again, well, this guy I don't necessarily out-accelerate, but I will catch him in the long run. And I can very easily just park myself on his ass. So I'm just gonna dive out, full afterburn, and I'm gonna start catching this guy relatively fast here, because again, we are a MiG-23M at 9.7. So this guy starts turning. We get hit by AA in the middle of the map, because you know, that's how it works. F4C comes in, starts spraying at him, and then he slams into the ground, because he got a little bit too greedy. I almost stole that kill, but I don't need to. He's on fire, he's gonna burn up. Took me a fat second to actually realize he was about to die, so we stopped shooting. And then I noticed the Harrier, and I know it's a GL1 from earlier. And I see the sun, I see these clouds, And I'm just gonna move Skedaddle to that side real quick, because I know that he has, well, 4 SRAMs on his wings, and I'm not really feeling going head on with it. Another A10 goes down to a regular AA in the middle of the map, because you know that's how the A10 is. But for now, I just want to come from the sun to 1, reduce the spotting, and 2nd, might fool some SRAMs in the head-on. And the second I get past the head-on, this guy dies. The Harrier is not going to be surviving a dogfight with this thing. And if he's too slow, he can't even pitch up and SRAM me, because, well, SRAMs don't work at low speed because of the thrust vectoring. So we pitch right into him, and this guy is just not paying attention. He notices way too late, and at this point I can just park on the 6, squeeze the trigger, and down he goes. And last guy of today, and actually the first game I did in this thing, I'm coming in from the side, and I still have my rocket key on the ripple fire, so I shoot both off at once. You know, we're just gonna call it weight reduction. I changed the bind after this game, you might have guessed. Aviate going for us. I am not gonna deal with that. I already know that missile was coming, and I'm just gonna be outrunning it. Move a little bit left to right to bleed it from some energy, and then the second it stops burning, I'm gonna pull a little bit more violently, bleed it off even more speed, and then it is out of range. We can start turning, and we can start pressuring again on the Aviate. Well, as long as he isn't looking at us, because we both know that the second he is looking at us, well, he might start shooting it at a very close range in the head-on. These things are not all aspect. I might digress, but this thing is extremely hot, and at like 1.5 kilometers, you might find yourself getting locked. And if he does, you better bring out some fancy tricks, which means pressing escape and pressing back to the hangar real quick before he hits you. And that's about the only way you're getting out of that one. So you want to plan a little bit in this thing. You really want to make sure your positioning is on point, and that people kind of ignore you. It's very situational, as you might have maybe been able to tell. On the 6 of an Aviate, and he's just gonna dolphin around. He might want to check out my defensive flying video, because I don't know what the hell this is. MACGs are right into my guns, and down he goes. And again, keep looking around. And when you look around and you don't see any all aspect missile boats, feels pretty good in this thing. This thing becomes pretty damn potent. Just be careful that no one dives on you, because everyone knows at this BR, if they see a MiG-23, you are not having flares. And if you don't have flares in a MiG-23, they know you are basically a free kill. That guy turned a lot tighter than we thought. I turned a lot less than I thought I would. So I wasn't going to get the AOA that I was required to get the shot. F5 then pitches straight up for me. Like, I'm not sure what you are trying to attempt here, buddy, but it's not gonna work out. I stall him in front of 2 of my friendlies. However, they are both not able to kill him. It's an F5C in the end. And then I come back in and I click him out of the air. I start diving towards the enemies again, because I don't ever want to show my ass towards anything with high powered missiles. The F8E is not that much of an issue, and that is mainly because, well, those are caged missiles. They can't really track me, and he can't really lead it, so it's not as dangerous. Going on with the F5, take his wingtip. F8E rams into the corpse of an Su-25. Nice job. And we are now gonna look around and see if we can find the last guy. That F5 is going to, well, he's attempted to be stolen. Luckily the MiG-21 misses everything, and he's gonna end up kissing a tree. And for the last kill of today, we are gonna be chasing the Milan, which is kind of, I'm gonna say nostalgic, but that's a fat fucking lie. I'm so glad I don't have to touch that thing anymore. And no, I'm not doing it. You can donate me all the money you want. I'm just gonna refund it. I'm not touching it. So we are basically the Milan, but a little bit better. I know how hard this guy is struggling, so I'm going to let him bomb one more time, and then we're going to click him out of the air. So I'm just flying on the 6, and I'm just going to wait for that guy to drop his bombs, and after he does so, I'm just going to click him. The thing is, he's actually somewhat paying attention. Waited for him to drop. He pulls out of the way just as I shoot, kind of annoying. And I turn off to attempt not get bombed. Luckily, he does the same thing as me. I showed him some respect, and he'll show me some as well. 07 brother, have fun grinding the Mirage 2000 is definitely worth it, but flying that thing definitely isn't. And that's all I have for you today. See you all tomorrow with the G91Y video, which is about just as painful.